Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Sales Beast Podcast. We are very happy today to have Ryan Campbell with us. He's someone I consider a friend, and he's someone I met very early on in my career in the business. Probably 6 months in, Ryan, is when I met you. And you were doing big things back then. You're still doing big things today, and you're someone I really respect. So thank you so much for joining us.
Awesome. Thanks for having me, Mike. I'm looking forward to just, jumping into conversation with you, sharing some perspective, a bit about my story, and whatever other questions you want to ask me. I'm an open book, man. So I'll let you get right to it.
Absolutely. Yeah. So Ryan, tell us a little bit about your business. I know right now you're with Keller Williams, and that's how me and Anna got in touch with you. Where were you prior to Keller Williams, and how long have you been in the business?
I've been a licensed realtor since early on in 2008. At that time, I knew I wanted a brand name. I think I put a call out to Remax, never heard back from anybody. I connected with Century 21, met with them, liked what I heard, jumped right in. Started off kind of part-time dabbling. Oddly enough, I was in automotive detailing prior to obtaining my license. I liked that job. I liked the people that I worked with, and B, it was piecework. So the more vehicles I got through in a day, the more money I was making. So I utilized that job as kind of a cushion to cover my expenses and then dabble in real estate on the side. And I'll remember it still to this day. They offered me a manager position within that world, and I took it. However, very quickly I realized my income was going down. So I was working harder, working longer, and being paid less. So I went into the boss at that time and I said, hey, this just isn't working, right? Figuring he can look at the pay stubs and understand, hey, I get it. Unfortunately, he let me go. I think he just got a little bit heated at that given moment. And I was super nervous at that time. Me and my wife owned a house. My wife is now a full-time employed teacher, but at the time was just a supply teacher. So she had inconsistent income. And I remember I was like, holy crap, I just lost that cushion. What am I going to do? So what I did, I doubled down. I went to work. I reached out to for sale by owners. I remember sifting through Kijiji on a consistent basis, looking for opportunities. And sure enough, those opportunities came. And now looking back on it, it was an absolute blessing because it forced me to get out there, make this real estate thing work. And I'm so grateful to be in the world of real estate. It's been very fruitful, both for myself, my family, my team members. It's just, it's amazing. I can't say enough good things.
Nice. Were cars a passion of yours, or you just ended up in that?
I'll be honest, I still thoroughly enjoy detailing cars. I wish I had more time for it. Unfortunately, mine right now are not a great reflection of that passion I have for it. But I was darn good at it, and I just enjoyed it. To be honest. Yeah.
I'll tell you why I asked you that. When I remember I met you in Brantford that day, and I drove this shitty old Honda Civic down to meet you, and I remember seeing your truck. That truck is awesome. I want to have a big truck like that when I grow up and actually do something with myself in this business.
Well, now that you're a dad, you may need a truck, and that's the thing. Like having a truck. I got 2 young kids, as you know, Mike, and I couldn't picture my life without one, to be completely honest.
Cool story. That's a nice truck. Yeah. Thanks. I never told you that before.
What kind of truck is it? Now I want to know.
At that time, it's actually a little bit different. So at that time, it was an F-150, but I just changed over, I don't know, back in March or so. We drive a Dodge Ram now. So we switched it up a little bit, but it's super cool. It's even nicer than the Ford, Mike.
Really? I just remember you had the Platinum, right? So on the back, that guy's doing well. Yeah. Cool. That's funny. What made you make the move to KW?
Great question, man. So I'll say this. Where do I begin? I've shared the story many, many times, and I love talking about it. So I used to work with a videographer who was based out of Burlington, and he had a great relationship with the OP in Burlington. They must have worked together many years ago or whatnot. And he's like, you know what? Like we built up a great relationship. We're friends. And he's like, you got to connect with this lady. He knew at that time I was looking to build a team. And he just thought we would connect well. So she came down to Brantford. We had lunch. We started conversations. And at that time, I am the kind of guy, you don't know what you don't know. So I'm open to having a conversation and see where it goes about anything. But at that time, had no intent on going anywhere. Didn't want to, had a great relationship with my broker, still do to this day. Great relations with all my colleagues. The culture within C21 at our brokerage was very strong. We did some awesome things over there. But I took this conversation with this lady who's an OP, and I left that meeting going, holy crap, I'd never given any consideration to this. And what the consideration truly was building a business inside of the world of real estate, opposed to at that time, we were successful in our sales, but I was trading time for money. At that time, I did have my executive assistant, who is now my director of operations. And I also had pretty much part-time marketing director. So Kyle and Tammy still to this day are in my world. And back then I knew I wanted to grow into something. I knew I wanted to bring on buyer's agents because I was letting so much stuff fall through the cracks. I was a new father at the time. My family is my number one priority, always has been, always will be. And for example, if say a sign call came in on a property that was 40 minutes away, I didn't want to handle it. So I wasn't handling it. I was just giving things away or not following up, not getting any business out of it. I knew I wanted to bring on a buyer's agent, right? First step I felt for where I was at. The problem and the struggle I had with that is I had no clue how to go about it. Could have brought somebody into the world, but what scared me was they come over, they commit to working with me, they walk through the door, and then what? What's that look like? So that's been one massive takeaway for me through Keller Williams, but we'll get back to that. So you had asked me, I think, about my story and about what brought me over to KW. So I'll circle back to that. So I had those meetings with no intention on doing anything whatsoever, but left that meeting going, okay, maybe I should explore this. And then I was put on to a different team leader, put in touch, did the KPA. I love that stuff, disc profiling, KPA, super cool. Opened up a high level conversation, and I attended a mega agent panel. And still remember this to this day. My current OP was actually one of the first individuals I met, and he was on that panel that day. And I remember I was the first one in the room that day. I got a few minutes of his time, partook and listened to the mega agent panel, and was just blown away by the 4 of the 5 speakers that were up on stage that day, because all of them were doing the things I aspired to do, but had absolutely no clue how to go about it. So it was after that, it was kind of a quick decision, maybe not even, because I had at that time went out and leased our own office space. We got a building. And at that time, what I was going to do was a sub brokerage within Century 21. Because at that point, essentially, I'm a broker. I can bring people on my team, give them generous splits, right? It would have financially made sense. It would have made sense. And I was really back and forth. Do I go KW? Do I stay C21? Back and forth so much that I made the commitment to stay C21. And I made that commitment in my head because it was easy. I knew the admin team. I knew the systems, had the colleagues and the brokerage support. It was comfy. And I remember talking to a friend of mine later on that night after I made that decision and told the KWTL, hey, sorry, I'm staying. Thanks, but no thanks. And he left me saying, he goes, Ryan, that's cool. Doors always open, fully support your decision, but I need to ask you, do you have the support there you need to get to where you want to go? And I remember walking out of the office going, whew, that's done, off my plate, move forward. I'm focused on C21. And just as luck would have it, I jumped into a conversation with a childhood friend of mine, and we always have very high level conversations. And it was just a random conversation, random phone call. It's like everything's meant to be will be. And I jumped into it. I'm like, I finally made my decision. I'm staying C21. And this is a gentleman I had been talking with for at least a year about this potential move. And he goes, Ryan, you're crazy, man. He goes, I'm so shocked to hear you say that. He goes, you are KW. I'm like, what do you mean by that? He goes, you know what? I got an appointment tonight. I'm canceling it. We're getting together. Crazy. I got chills just reminiscing on this. And he came by my place that night, and it was very quick. We had some quick conversation. He goes, Ryan, everything that you're aspiring to do, he's like, everything you've told me about KW, he goes, you're KW, man. And right from that conversation, we made the plans, put them in motion. I still to this day do remember the conversation with my broker. I mean, I've had a lot of tough conversations in my lifetime, but hands down, without a doubt, it was the hardest one I've ever had. I remember waiting at the brokerage, my heart just beating crazy. Because again, he was my friend. He was a great mentor. Like, it was awesome. There was no ill will or any negative things about that world. But the reality is KW was going to support me better in building the world that I aspired to build. And what's interesting about that, I didn't go for the dollar, because if I stayed at C21, it would have been more financially rewarding for myself based on the sub brokerage model at that current time. But the value to me was learning from successful people, following systems and roadmaps into getting to that 7th level, right? Like, that's a goal of mine, as you know, Mike, and day by day, we're getting closer and closer to that goal, which is super exciting. So here we are today, I believe October 1st, we're going on 3 years. 3 years, time flies when you're having fun, right? So
for sure.
Yeah, it's you know, it's had its ups and downs for sure, right? Some growing pains, of course, along the way. But I can honestly say the education that I've plugged into, the people that I've met, the courses that have been offered have just shined a whole entire new picture about what is possible in this world of real estate. Also, too, I'll share this too. So my personal assistant, Tammy Cole, been with me 5-6 years now. She's an absolute rock star, if I'm being completely honest. But the growth I've seen out of her in year over year, month over month, but more so over the last 2 years, has just been through the roof. And she's so appreciative of it, right? She's stepped in and she's killing it in a leadership role. She loves where she is. She loves the support of other people, Anna being included, a lot of other high-level director of operations. And that wouldn't have been possible where I was before, being 100% transparent and honest. So I'm extremely grateful for all the good stuff KW's done for me in my personal world, but more so for the others who are involved in my world, who support my world, seeing them win, seeing them happy, seeing them thrive. I mean, what more could you ask for as a business owner, to be honest?
For sure. Do you feel, after going through that experience of Century 21 Tammy and now KW Tammy, do you feel an obligation to the people in your world that you continue to grow and tap into this amazing training and these great systems to ensure you continue to generate big opportunities for your people?
Well, 100%, right? I can go 2 ways on that. And it's interesting because, you know, Tammy, we're on the topic of Tammy, so let's talk about it. Director of operations, administrative assistant, you know, the unfortunate truth is there's only so much those rock stars can make, right? The awesome part about KW, and me and Tammy just had this conversation a couple of weeks ago, she can get involved and earn income through profit share, right? So we had a conversation about paying off her mortgage earlier and what that looks like. What can we do? And I said, Tam, you know so many good realtors. You know the amazing stuff KW has A, done for us, B, will do for other people. Spark up the conversations, right? So that was a big aha for her. And I think that's super cool. I really do. To build some passive income, you know, will to generations, like just awesome stuff. But the way you asked that question, you know, do I feel obligated to create that opportunity? And I won't say it's an obligation, but I think it's just something that's going to come organically with being in KW. You know, that's what we talk about. Funny enough, and I'll summarize it like this: prior to coming to KW, I heard the word opportunity so many times. You know, opportunity this, opportunity that. It got so much, I was like, okay, man, relax with the word opportunity. What's crazy, going on my 3rd year and looking at what opportunities have come my way already, I fully understand now what this gentleman was talking about when he kept saying the word opportunity. Super exciting stuff. I mean, there's so many different avenues you can step into depending what you want to do, right? What do you want to focus on? What do you want to build? What's your world want to look like? KW's got a system, a model, and other people who are already doing it. So it certainly makes it a lot easier.
For sure.
You go.
No, we always interrupt each other. You
We
go
always
ahead,
do.
Anna.
Okay, well, what I was going to ask is tell us what your business looked like when you started at KW and what your business looks like in terms of people, your focus, your involvement directly in the business. Like, are you still trading day to day? What does that look like?
Okay, good question. So how do I want to say this? So, I mean, we were doing a good amount of volume year in, year out. So again, though, we were trading time for money, right? I had no clue about 7th level, building up, stepping out. I had no clue anything about that. So when I came over to KW, our sales numbers have been fairly consistent with where they are. They're growing year over year. But the interesting part about that is my focus since coming over to KW has been building a team, a strong foundation that can support it, because we're starting to look at, okay, what's expansion look like? Can we have our hubs so tight that I can support people in different cities? Is that an opportunity? Can we support the agent? Like, that's my thing too, is supporting the agents that come. Like, they're putting their trust in myself to deliver on the systems, the accountability, the structure, the culture. That's a big thing, right? And Mike, you would know, if I say something, I want to do it. You know, I'm not the guy to just say whatever just to appease. If we say it, we're going to do it. So to put into perspective, yes, year over year, GCI and all that is growing for sure. But where the massive growth has come in our world is the amount of people that we're in business with today. As I made reference to, Tammy and Kyle, so direct executive assistant and marketing director, they were in my world already. But now we've grown to 7 sales agents, director of operation. We're looking to fill a bench for the second one coming on to assist Tammy. All right. So another EA coming in. We have social media strategist. We have 1.5 videographer and photographer in-house. And the growth truly has really only started about 1.5 years ago. So about 1.5 years ago, if we had this conversation, it was me, Kyle, Tammy, and 1 sales agent at that time. We had 1 sales agent come over. He was a rock star. Unfortunately, he's not with us today. He went some other route. I'll just leave it at that, unfortunately. But it was great opportunity. You know, anytime you're doing something for the first time, there's a ton of unknowns. Like, we're right now hiring an ISA. And I'm nervous about that because I know the training, I've never done it before. You know, what's going to fill their day? What's that world look like? So the first sales agent was a huge learning experience. And then slowly but surely more and more started coming in. And we're not out recruiting. These are people that are putting their hands up and opening the door to the conversation to say, hey, what's this look like? And we got to ensure it's a win-win. We certainly won't take anybody on. It's got to be a strong cultural fit. We do career visioning on every single conversation, any potential candidate that we're getting into business with. It's a step we don't overlook. Does that answer the question, I guess? Yeah.
I think so.
100%. I definitely think it does. And just looking back, it's almost like you got into KW for the first year and a bit. It was just like a water hose coming at you of information. And then the next couple years was about all the implementation that now shows up today. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, 100%. And it was just, meeting people, figuring things out, like getting an understanding of KW, right? It takes some time. And when I'm in conversation with other agents currently, I'm like, I get it. Look, every brokerage touts the best technology, the best culture, the best training. I get it. It's tough for you guys to differentiate. I'm like, but when you're in it and you actually partake in all the amazing things that we have to offer, without a doubt, you'll be picking up your phone, calling me to thank me. And I'm extreme, as you can tell, probably even through video, I'm extremely confident in that because I believe it wholeheartedly. I love KW and everything it stands for because of what it's done for me.
Amazing. Now, kind of keeping on that same topic of like doors opening up for you and really seeing more opportunity, I know that you guys have been going through the coaching program called Red Shirt. Do you want to talk a little bit about that and maybe even your vision with what's going to come of your team, of yourself over the next couple of years?
Great question, Anna. And this is an interesting story as well. And I was lucky enough to work with Mike throughout this program. So anyways, I was awarded the opportunity to earn the opportunity to become a MAPS coach. So it was about, I don't know, maybe $500-600 a month. It was 4 or 5 months long, every Friday throughout the entire summer. And what's interesting about that and why I bring that up is Fridays were essentially my days off, right? If I had odds and ends, I'd buckle them up quick and then get out of there, right? So when I was given this, I'm like, oh man, do I really want to give up my Fridays? And it's not entirely given up, but I think it was around the lunchtime-ish, and then there was homework involved all summer long, right? I got a young family. I have a wife who's a teacher, so she's off. I had to really think about that. And being a coach, I mean, I've been in coaching since I got into this industry. The Brian Buffinis, the Tom Ferries, the private business coaches, now with MAPS. So I know coaching. It's something that I love to do. Leadership is my thing. I truly enjoy it. And I knew one day I wanted to be a business coach, right? I felt it was inevitable, but I didn't think that one day was going to be now. I really didn't. And with everything we've got going on and the build out and everything we're working on, is the timing right? Probably not. Is it ever right for the best things in life? Usually not. So anyways, I elected to sign up for this just to see where it would go. If anything, just to expose myself to more things, and we'll see what happens down the road. Got involved in this program, and hands down to this day, in my opinion, the best course that I've done in KW. Even though it was on Fridays, even though there was hours of homework every single week, the clarity I got on so many things. For example, our budgeting model, right? Our economic model, breaking down a business, understanding a GPS and a 411. These are all things I knew surface level, right? I've been to business planning clinics, done all that stuff since I came into KW. I've worked with my coach on that stuff year over year for the past few years. Never really understood it like I do now. Why is that a win? Because if I understand it at such a high level, I'm able to support everybody in my world at such a higher level. I'm so excited for this year's goal planning and business planning, because we're going to break it down to the micro, where my people are going to know exactly what they need to do day in, day out to achieve their goals. I'm going to know how to operate and run a simplified weekly 411, which will hold them accountable to achieving their goals. And if they're winning, we're all winning. We're all growing. I mean, there's no negatives in that. So there was a lot more to that stuff. For example, the importance of asking powerful questions, getting better at the skill of listening, 1, 2, 3 levels listening. That was a big eye opener for me, getting a good understanding. And right away, I've implemented that. And there's times I catch myself, Ryan, smarten up, you're in level 1, get to level 2, aim for 3. And that's just not just business. That goes anywhere. You're at a restaurant with listening to a hostess, I'm arguing with my son, or whatever that may look like. These are people skills, very important life skills. So yeah, I can't say enough good things about Red Shirt. We will see if I've earned the opportunity to become a MAPS coach. We don't know yet. We'll see where that goes. But regardless, super grateful and appreciative of the opportunity. And I hope, Mike, you can share the same perspective on that.
I thought it was fantastic. Yeah, it was definitely the best course I've taken. If you have earned the opportunity to become a MAPS coach, or is that something you're going to pursue?
Good question. So I'll share, like, one of my business coaches is Kelly Meniteus, who was a MAPS coach, stepped away, and is now head MAPS coach Canada. So we connect on a weekly basis, and we're coming towards the end of Redshirt, and I had to build out a GPS for what my year looks like, right, as a MAPS coach. And I said to her, I go, I don't know if now's the time to do this. Like, do I want to do this? I said, maybe, and this is what I really said. I said, you know what, why don't I just wait for the next red shirt? I'll 100% sign up again and get involved. She brought up a good point. She's like, Ryan, you can do that. She goes, but there is no guarantee that next opportunity comes your way. There's a lot of new people getting into our industry. You may not get this shot again, but do what works for you. So we started talking about the pros, the cons, and what that looks like. And after that conversation, yeah, 100%. If I'm awarded that opportunity, I'm going to jump right in for many different reasons. Number one, the people that I'm going to have conversations with, like connecting on weekly calls with head MAPS coaches. How awesome is that? You know, having the expectation that I have to be present for family reunion and mega camp, right? Awesome. Having a high level head coach, and then learning all that stuff. And like I said at the beginning, is you don't know what you don't know. So if I can put myself into rooms with these high level thinkers, what's that going to do to my world? It's going to force my vision to what even more is possible. It's going to allow me to transfer these skills down to my team members, because I share with my team members every week at our team meetings. Leaders develop leaders. That's my goal. If every single team member on my team on the sales side puts themselves in a position to go out and build their own team, that's a huge win in my world. Now, I'm hopeful that that team is a team within my team, but regardless, a leader developed a leader and they're going on to win their game. Super powerful stuff. So yeah, to answer your question, in the event I'm awarded that opportunity, I'm going to jump in and I'm going to take it, because 2022 will be my last year in residential real estate. I've slowly over the past 2 years started pushing a lot of stuff away now, and actually probably for at least the past year and a half, I don't handle any of my own sign calls. They all go to my team members. So slowly we're stepping into that. Now I'm not stepping up to the 7th level, but I'm stepping out of res, more into commercial and development stuff. But all my res business will be directly put on to my team members. So I'm super, super excited about that. Yeah, I really am. It's exciting.
And if you are awarded that opportunity, from what I understand, about 20 hours of your time weekly is going to be placed elsewhere. What does Ryan need to do within his real estate sales business and with his team to ensure it's still functioning at a high level, given you probably won't have as much time to dedicate to it?
No, that's true. And it was a topic of concern that I had with Kelly. The reality is I get to pick my days and build my time block schedule, right? I've got good leverage in my world. I've got great sales agents. I really, truly do. So what am I going to have to do? I'm going to have to double down on my leadership, double down on my accountabilities, double down on my trainings. So that way, if say I got to pass one of my A clients onto one of my team members, that A client's still going to receive the same level of service that they would expect from me, and hopefully even better, to be honest, right? So leverage 100%, but great question. Bit nervous about that, but we'll figure it out, right? We'll figure it out. 100%.
And think how much stronger you'll be and more capable of doubling down on your leadership, on your accountability, if you're a MAPS coach, which in my opinion are some of the best coaches in the world.
Yeah, you bring up a good point. Like I shared with you, Mike, honestly, Brian Buffini's, that was great. That was my early years. And that was awesome because it taught me the relational side of this business, right? Take care of your clients, you know, the handwritten notes, the thank you cards, the client events. This is stuff we still do today. And then we were there for a few years. We took it to the next level. We stepped into Tom Ferry coaching, right? And still thank my one coach, Lynn Otluski, to this day. She's the one who forced me, pushed my hand and said, Ryan, go get an assistant. I was nervous. I'm like, holy crap, like bringing somebody on, I got to pay for that. You know, what are they going to do? What's going to fill their day? But again, it was game changer stuff, pushed me out of my comfort zone. We got it done, and Tammy's with me to this day. Private things. And then I got involved in MAPS coaching. Hands down, it's the best. That's the only way I can say it. And maybe I just got lucky and I got a rock star coach. I don't know. I do. A lot of respect for my MAPS coach for sure. But just the way the calls are structured, the things that we're focusing on, the support and the I don't know how to say it, the information they're giving me. So for example, if I need to know something, he'll point me in the right direction. Go read the one thing, this paragraph, for example, or whatever that may look like. But yeah, MAPS coaching is coaching on steroids, without a doubt.
The coolest thing I got out of it, or one of the coolest lines I got out of that course is, I think a lot of coaches don't do this. They coach to their game, not to the game. And it's pretty hard to argue that KW doesn't have the game. Because Gary Keller, he owns the largest team in the world, and I'm sure he's made more mistakes in this game than any of us ever will.
Yeah, 100%. It's so true. And it's interesting, as you know, through Redshirt, we had to have our calls, right? Coach client calls, whatever that looked like. And I did one with one individual at the beginning of the course. And then I just closed off on Friday with a second with her. And at the end, we're feedback, right? How'd that go? And she's like, Ryan, wow. She goes, what a difference. Because originally, prior to walking through this course, I used to share a lot of my own personal experience and perspectives. So as you would know, Mike, I was a consultant rather than a coach. The difference in the last coaching call is I was asking questions and allowing the client to self-discover. Again, like this is real estate business stuff, but this is whole life, whole world stuff. I consider myself blessed to have the opportunity to have these high level conversations, these high level understandings, because I know what they can do to change worlds. I have, for example, a good friend of mine owns a construction company, and he's struggling to find talent, right? He's trading time for money, right? He's very skilled at what he does. He's got so much work. He's behind on everything because he can't find the right people to get caught up. And I'm like, man, let me help you. You need to go through career visioning. You need to start building a bench. You need to build your org chart. Who are the people you need in this place? And his fiance was a high-level HR for Suncor. So they're involved in the oil industry or whatnot. She's overhearing this conversation and she's absolutely just blown away. So cool, so powerful. Here's construction company. I'm in real estate, educating this man on how he should go about and truly build his world. Super, super cool stuff, man.
I have a question for both of you, I guess. Sandy's also going through Redshirt, right? And I pretty much deal exclusively with Sandy on a day-to-day, like we're working very closely hand in hand. And I feel like over the past month to 2 months, I've like really seen a change in his leadership style for the better, of course. Like I've obviously been working with him for like 3+ years now, but still like a person can still continue to grow. So I want to kind of hear from you guys what I guess your growth has been like through the Redshirt program, and maybe even like how that has affected your team members.
Who's going first?
I guess I can go first. So in the corner of my screen, it's been up here since I got in the business. It's this ugly little piece of paper taped on my screen, and it has a question mark on it. And I would say until I took that course, I really didn't know what that meant. I just put it there because Sandy said you should ask questions rather than speak all the time, because we all like to hear the sound of our own voices. And this course taught me what that truly meant. And it was also very classic KW. It's not Mike so much being the coach, it's Mike following a model that's proven and it's worked by the best coaches in the world. It's your coaching blueprint. And that's what I always felt I didn't have. I have the agent blueprint through MREA. It tells me exactly what to do every day, which is great. But then if you want to grow, you have to go from agent to leader. I always wondered where's the blueprint for that, and now I have it. I'm so grateful for that.
Awesome. That sums it up very, very well. First and foremost, I have, as you guys know, the highest level of respect for Sandy. Yeah, I just love that guy. Lots of love for him for sure. So very cool to hear that you're seeing the results of what he partook in. Where is it showing up? I don't know. As bad as that may sound, I think for me personally, it's asking deeper questions. Again, really consciously getting to level 2, level 3 listening. That's kind of been my big takeaway. I mean, week over week since this course has started, every Friday, our team, we celebrate our wins, right? Big, small, let's hear them, guys. Let's celebrate. And now I'm doubling that down and I'm asking some questions. And I shared this, Mike, in the course. I had 7 questions that I asked my team members. And I said, I'll give you the week, think about it. And then one-on-one, we're going to get together. Let's start thinking now of what our big goals are. So come October, when we're goal setting, you've got clarity on that stuff. Where I know this is going to show up is come October, November, when we're doing goal planning, business planning, getting clarity on what they want, building out GPSs accurately, sticking to the consistency of the 411, because we understand the importance of having a relationship with your 411 weekly. So much powerful stuff. Honestly, we should plug into the calendar today for a year from today, and we should pick up this conversation, and then I'd be able to answer that question for sure. I'd be excited for that one.
No, that sounds good. That sounds good. So in terms of, I want to go back because you said a point, and I don't know if for those listening, if they are aware what that means, but the level 1, level 2, and level 3 listening, can you break down what that means?
Oh, okay. Very surface level.
Surface level is perfect.
But like level 1, for example, and it was interesting when I was learning about this. I'm like, holy crap, I am way too often in level 1. So level 1, for example, you're having a deep conversation with somebody, and as they're talking, you in your head, you're thinking, you're not really listening, right? You're kind of thinking, oh, I would have done this, I would have done that. You're kind of strategizing for ways to fix what they're saying, barely listening. Level 2, you're actually really paying attention to what they're saying. I know it seems kind of basic, but truly it makes sense. Level 3, I mean, you're watching body tone, body language, you're truly starting to listen. And again, I wish I knew this at a deeper level. I really, truly don't. So I guess my perspective on it is truly listening. When you guys are talking, you guys are asking me questions. I don't have other thoughts funneling through my head. I'm paying attention. I'm in the conversation. They made reference to building. It's like a muscle. You're building this skill. When you're listening to music was a prime example. So often, you're listening to music, you like the beat, you're not listening to the words. So they said a good way to practice this is music, and truly listen to the words, listen to the story. So that's something that I've been trying to do more and more over the past little while. Again, this call 1 year from now, ask me that question and I'll have a deep answer for you.
It's so easy to just have a conversation with someone and instantly refer back to like an example of how that may have applied to your life, or how that may have, like how you would take that. But it's truly something completely different to actually be able to listen and maybe not even talk about your personal experiences, right?
Well, on that note too, they brought up something that really stuck with me. I'm in the business of sales. I'm in real estate. What's the difference between me and my competitor? Take commissions aside and off the table. What can I do to win? Build rapport, build relationships. How do I do that? By listening, by understanding, truly taking the time to really understand the needs, the wants of that individual across the table from you. That stuck with me. It really did, because it's so true. You can, and we all know, you build the rapport, build the relationships. More often than not, you build the business. But truly taking the time to really really listen, really understand, and circle back on that year over year. You can literally build client relations for life. So lots more to learn, lots more growing to do. But I know it's inevitable, right? 3 years deep into KW. Give me 3 more years. Can't wait. So excited.
Love it. Mike, do you have any other questions?
Yeah, we obviously gobbled up a lot of great content that can be used to lead people, but also that can just be used to lead a great life and run a fantastic sales business. Have you taken your agents through any of the concepts we've learned in the One Thing or MREA when we were in the course?
Not as of yet, but I will say this. So as you know, throughout our course, we were given some pretty powerful videos to watch, right? So I shared each and every one of them with my DOO. Why? Because now she understands, what we're truly building. Like, for example, the 6 consultative conversations, right? I would have said I never a clue on what that is or what that means. Now she gets it. Everything, budget models, living in the 30-30-40. My DOO tracks all my expenses. She's the one in charge of my P&L. And a takeaway from that is above the line, below the line expenses. So many of my expenses were going above the line and they should have been below the line. So what's that do? Puts me closer to actually being within model. So again, not a ton has happened as of yet, unfortunately, through the summer, busy time. I think, Mike, I recently moved, which came out of nowhere, complete flip of the switch. My whole world changed. So my time on task had been limited through the months of July and August. But here we are now in September. October's around the corner. It's the start of 2022, and we're going hard on being clear and purposeful around what we're getting this year.
Well, Ryan, before we leave you today, we have one last question that we ask all of our guests. Okay. Who do you know that we should have on this podcast?
Oh man, long list. I would need to know who you've already connected with. You want KW, non-KW? You want some local rock stars?
Local rock star sounds great. You're local to Brantford, right? I don't think we've had a lot of Brantford realtors on here.
Brantford, Brant County. I mean, somebody, and unfortunately, I don't know her uber well. Great relations for sure. We talk everything. We chatted over the weekend and whatnot. I wish I knew her on a deeper level, and you probably heard the name, but Kate Broddick.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. If that's something you guys want to entertain and I can help you get that set up, I would love to. She's an absolute rock star. She crushes it in volumes and stuff. My honest opinion, though, she'd probably be double what she is if she was drinking the Kool-Aid.
We'll have to bring her on then.
I think so. Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of great rock stars though around Brantford. There really truly is. I could give you a long list of some pretty awesome people. She's just a big name that crushes it in volume and something I thought you guys would hear. So I think she'd have an awesome story to share with everybody for sure.
For sure. I've got her on Facebook, but maybe I'll have you make the introductions afterwards.
I'd be happy to do that. 100%.
Love it. Well, thanks so much for joining us for another episode. It was great to see you, Ryan, and thanks for all the amazing takeaways. I think tons of value in the conversation today.
Cool. Love it. You're very welcome, guys, anytime. And if I can shine clarity on anything we touched on, just reach out, let me know, and let's get us in the calendar for a year from today. Let's do it.
Got it. Nice.